So last night, Blackmagic released the URSA Mini Pro 12K. This is an update to their popular URSA Mini Pro, which upgrades the 4.6K sensor all the way up to a 12K one. And this could well be the first 12K camera aimed at cinema production that we've seen hit the market. And I'm not gonna lie, it has taken me a bit by surprise. 12K, as you would imagine, results in pretty huge file sizes. But Blackmagic have introduced a few features to make working with this camera a lot more manageable than you might actually think it would be at first glance. Let's start though by looking at the new sensor. It's a newly designed Super 35mm sensor that has a claimed 14 stops of dynamic range, and it is the first sensor that Blackmagic have designed specifically with Blackmagic RAW in mind. In fact, the camera can only record in Blackmagic RAW. ProRes or DNx HD aren't even available anymore, which shows how confident Blackmagic are in how usable their new RAW codec is. It also means this is the first time we've really seen a manufacturer take control pretty much of the entire imaging pipeline of a camera platform. Blackmagic make the sensor. They then make the camera, the color science, the raw codec, and then crucially, they make the editing, grading, and delivery software with Resolve. And we've sort of got close to this before with Red, where they make the sensor, camera, and codec. But having Resolve as well means that Blackmagic are just able to take this to the next level. In their live stream announcement, we watched the CEO, Grant, play back 9 streams of 12K simultaneously in Resolve. And admittedly, this was on a Mac Pro system, which I imagine was upgraded substantially. That would have been an expensive computer, but it's still very, very impressive. It's also using a very different type of sensor technology than most other cameras that are on the market right now. Rather than using a Bayer pattern CMOS, this is an RGB CMOS, which we haven't actually seen in use since the Sony f35, which was a long time ago now, and a much higher end camera. It's going to be fascinating to see how much of a difference this actually makes to image quality. But it could be the reason why we're starting to see things with this camera that we just haven't seen on other cameras yet. The big one for me isn't really the max resolution. It's not about that 12K. It's about being able to get lower resolutions like 8K, 6K, and 4K with the full sensor and in a RAW format. Normally, downsampling to a lower resolution with a full sensor is just something that isn't possible with the RAW format. All other cameras that I know of have to crop in, but not here. So it is possible that this is because of that RGB sensor design. The other thing that impresses me more than the max resolution is the frame rates that this camera is capable of doing those resolutions at. In 12K you can get up to 60 frames a second, and in 8K and 4K DCI you can get up to 110 frames a second with the full sensor in RAW. Crop into Super 16 and you get up to 4K at 220 frames a second as well. This is really, really impressive stuff from Blackmagic. There's obviously a huge amount more to talk about with the URSA Mini Pro 12K. This is going to be a big disruptor for the market as a whole, and so I'm sure we'll be making a lot more content going into detail on this camera. But for now, if you want to get your name onto that pre-order list, head over to proav.co.uk or just talk to our sales team directly. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.